Welcome to a brand new episode from Zach Magellan Collectibles. On the eve of Game 1 of the 2026 NBA Finals between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs, all eyes are on the 22-year-old phenom from France, nicknamed the Alien, one Victor Wembanyama. His historic run to the finals has caused his card market to go crazy. Today we will discuss that. We'll also share some of our personal collection of our favorite Victor Wembanyama cards. Stay tuned. Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again at Zach Magellan Collectibles. Today, we're all about Victor Wembanyama, Wemby for short. As you know, on this channel, we PC or have a nice personal collection of Victor Wembanyama cards. As you know, with this historic run to the finals at just age 22, year 3 in the NBA, it's caused Victor Wembanyama's cards to go crazy. Today, we're going to discuss just how inflated his cards currently are, and we'll also share some of our personal favorite Victor Wembanyama cards. Just a backstory on how we got into collecting Victor Wembanyama cards. As some of you may know, we took close to a 25-year absence from collecting sports cards. However, back in 2023, we were inspired once again to get back into the hobby. And who was our source of inspiration? You guessed it, one Victor Wembanyama. That summer, we had heard that Wemby was entering the draft, a phenom from France. Someone that was supposed to be the next LeBron James, if not better. We had heard that this 7'5" phenom could pass the ball, could shoot, could dribble, could block shots, could rebound, could score. He could do it all. The difference is he's 7'5" and no one could stop him. So of course, we started our collection from that point on and have not looked back since then. So back in 2023, we did what we enjoy doing most on this channel, which is to buy retail and some hobby boxes and rip it for the chance to go ahead and pull a Victor Wembanyama. Because as you know, every pull has a story, and every pull of a big Victor Wembanyama card definitely has a story on our channel. So we did just that, and today we're going to show you some of the successful hits of our rips in regards to our personal collection of Victor Wembanyama cards. First card you see right here is probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite card. It is a Topps Now card. Back in 2024, it is an on-card auto of Victor Wembanyama during his rookie year, where he went ahead and dropped 40 points and 20 rebounds. Now, the beauty of this card is not just the on-card auto, but look at that. It is numbered out of 10. It is number 5 out of 10. Now, just as an example of how Victor Wembanyama's cards have soared as of late, this card, you can't really find any comps because they're only out of 10. But a card that was, I believe, out of 99, I looked it up recently, and that sold for over $3,000. Now, you would imagine what an ungraded card out of 10 would look like in terms of price. But right now, the closest that we could see, like I said, was an ungraded card out of 99 that sold for over $3,000. But we have other nice pieces to share with you, and we'll also share some of the prices and how they've gone crazy as a result of this historic run by Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio. All right, so we're going to open up our case, and this is our case of graded cards. And believe it or not, all of these are graded Victor Wembanyama cards. Those are the ones that I'll show you today. I've got a bunch of ungraded cards, but we're going to go through them bit by bit, and you tell me your favorite as we go through it. These cards right here to the left are Victor Wembanyama PSA graded 10 cards, and the ones to the right are the basically 9 and below. So we're going to go through it. We'll also discuss the crazy card market as we go through these cards as well. So let's put this off to the side and show you some of the cards here. Now, I don't have prices for these cards, but as we go along, we will discuss other card prices as we pull them up. All right, so here are some cards, and you could see I was not sparing any expense. I was basically grading back in 2023, 24, grading any insert, any base card, and I'm currently being rewarded for that based on these soaring prices of Victor Wembanyama cards. But you could see we have an emergent that got a near min or an 8, and this is an insert from Prism. This one right here I think got messed up because this is one of my first PSA submissions. It was a mini black border, but I guess when I submitted it, it wasn't secured properly, and we only ended up getting an 8 on this. Now, here are some recognizable cards from our collection. There it is, a base Victor Wembanyama card, the Dunruss version. All right, this one here got a 9. I haven't looked up what the prices are for these cards, but I bet you it's way worth more than 20 bucks, okay? So, moving on, we had this nice mosaic, which I believe we pulled on camera on the channel. And we were disappointed at the time to find out that this only graded a 9 as well. So here's some cards that may be part of your collection that maybe you chose not to get graded. All right, so here's one of them. A 2023 Revolution, Victor Wembanyama rookie, an Astro. So this is something you probably would say, hey, probably won't get this graded. But as you know, the cards are soaring. So this card that may probably sit ungraded at $10, $15, may fetch close to $100. And here are some more familiar cards. Once again, select Blue Prism, Victor Wembanyama, PSA 9. And we have here a Tectonic, which we pulled on camera, which we were disappointed to find out that it also got a PSA 9. And here's another one I think we pulled on camera as well. A green, white, and purple Prism that also got a PSA 9. So that was all of the bad news, okay? Now let's get to the good news, where we're also going to discuss just how crazy the market has become, all right? So here we go. Victor Wembanyama Monopoly. All right, you see a sticker there, right? 80 bucks. I was willing to let this go for $80 because $80 was a good price at the time. However, things have changed now. As you know, this doesn't go for $80. And guess what? This is just a base. I got a bunch of these that I didn't get graded, but I decided to grade just a few of the base. This graded one right now, the last I look, as of this recording, was last sold for $150. Can you believe that? A Prism Monopoly base sold for $150. There you go. Talk about 4x, 5xing your investment. Moving right along. We got this one right here, Victor Wembanyama, Thunder Lane. Basically, it is an insert that we went ahead and got graded, all right, but a parallel. Got a PSA 10. Don't know the value of this one here, but it can't be cheap. We got a Stairmasters Mosaic, another insert. Nothing too special about it. PSA 10. Here we go. Once again, Monopoly. What did I say? $150 right here. Base Monopoly, $150. PSA 10. All right, so some of the first cards I got from Victor were from Prism draft picks, Bowman as well. So here's one of them right here. Once again, draft picks, Prism, before any of his real cards came out, his real rookie cards. This is his, I wouldn't say collegiate card, but his amateur card, and it got a PSA 10. And I know it's got to be worth close to, if not, $100. Here is a deep space that we got a PSA 10. All right, another Victor. So you could see we did not spare any expense with our PSA submissions for Victor Wembanyama. Now, the difference is, at that time, as a collector's member, all right, for a PSA, we weren't paying bulk for 24. We were paying, I believe, like $15 to $17 based on their PSA specials. So even more so, it was of value to go ahead and get these graded. So moving right along, Sudden Impact, Topps Chrome, unlicensed, PSA 10. Here is one of the first parallels that we got from the draft picks. We were happy to pull this, and we were happy to get a what? PSA 10. And if you've ever seen my reels where we were in Japan back in 2024, we pulled this out in front of Sensoji Temple, little temple magic, and we pulled an orange flash and got what? A PSA 10. So you can imagine, I haven't looked up these cards, all of these comps, but they are definitely worth way more now than they were maybe even a month ago. All right, so we got here White Hot Rookies Parallel. Nothing special, except it's a PSA 10. Once again, this one's a nice one, all right? It is a variation draft picks of Victor. One of our first nice cards that we got. Once again, continuing the trend, PSA 10. Now, we got an insert, Dunruss 2023, Victor Wembanyama Magicians. What do we get? PSA 10. Now, can you guys guess what Victor Wembanyama's first rookie card, licensed rookie card was? All right, was it Dunruss? Was it Mosaic? Was it Prism? No, it was not. It was NBA Hoops. And believe it or not, I don't think we got any NBA Hoops graded, but we have a bunch of ungraded NBA Hoops. And that's another thing, too. We have a bunch of ungraded Victor Wembanyama rookie cards that are sitting here. So should we grade them based on his current state in terms of in the hobby of these crazy prices? You let me know in the comments. Here we go. 2023 Prism, Instant Impact, a parallel, all right? I'm sorry, an insert, but it's a parallel version, PSA 10. Another Deep Space, PSA 10. All right, so we got this card right here, Allen and Ginter, base card, but once again, one of the first cards of Victor Wembanyama, PSA 10. More recently, we were happy to pull this on camera. It is one of our few numbered Victor Wembanyama cards, 2023 Mosaic Intro Blue Fast Break. And this one is numbered out of 85, 61 out of 85. And you guessed it, PSA 10. All right, so now we're going to get to, I like to call the rainbow. So some of these cards I pulled, some of them I purchased. And this is where we can have a little bit of a comparison of how these cards currently amount to. All right. This one right here, Orange Ice. So Orange Ice right here. I went ahead and I believe I purchased this card. I probably purchased this for $400 or $500 from eBay. And if I'm not mistaken, Zach from Zach Maiden Collectibles looked up the comps on these particular cards. And this was, if not over 1,000, I want to say it's definitely over 1,000. I just don't know exactly how much. But there you go. Definitely, that's twice my investment. Now, here is what I really want to get into, guys. Right here. Victor Wembanyama 2023 Prism base card. All right, as you know, with Cooper Flag, people were submitting his Topps, not even Topps Chrome, Topps flagship, his first rookie card and submitting it. and trying to get it graded for PSA 10s, and I believe they were selling for like, what, $300-$400. Well, that happened to Victor. His cards, I think even the base cards, when they first came out, the base ungraded were selling for over $100. I believe, I want to say during that time, his Prism card topped out at like, what, $250, $300 graded base. Well, guess what? I looked this up, and once again, I have Zach from Zach Meglin Collectibles to credit, because he was the one that got me thinking about my collection, because I've had my collection, and he actually asked me like a day after the Spurs advanced to the finals how my collection was and what were my best cards. And in doing so, he looked up a lot of the comps here. And this is one of them I was really curious about. At that time, all right, so this is right after, so it didn't really marinate long enough, but right after the PSA 10 base Victor Wembanyama cards, the day after they advanced to the finals, was sold for $500. As of this recording, which is June the 2nd, the evening before the NBA Finals, this card sold for $560. Base Prism rookie card. Now that is insane. Now what's even more insane is I got more than one. There you go, PSA 10. Okay, so here is another one, PSA 10. So I got some buttes here. The 2024, I tried to put together a little rainbow of Victor Wembanyama, but at that time his cards were highly priced, right? Definitely not what they are today, and I sort of regret that I didn't pursue it any further. But let's talk about what we got. All right, so we had a red ice. The red ice, I believe we purchased as well, okay? I think we paid, what, probably $400, $450 or so at the time. And this card, when we looked it up, I don't know the exact amount, but it's definitely worth more than $1,000, okay? Once again, 2x, if not 3xing our initial investment. Now, this one right here, we purchased a Ruby Wave Prism rookie card, okay? So we went ahead and purchased close to maybe $500, and this one as well is over $1,000 in price. Once again, his rookie cards going crazy. We don't have anything crazy here, guys. You don't see us with any manga cards or any one-of-ones here. This is just a simple collection that was, I believe, we were able to just comfortably add to our cards, not pay through the roof to get these cards, paid a little bit of an amount, and we were able to pull some of the cards. Now, here we go. Ice. All right, we pulled a Victor Wembanyama Ice right out of the pack, I believe, on this one. And once again, believe this card is definitely worth over $1,000. Now, one of the cards we definitely pulled ourselves was a pink ice. So we pulled this card, and once again, this card, if you look it up on eBay, last sold, definitely more than $1,000. And then, the premier card. The card that everyone covets, his primary rookie card. Of course, putting aside any parallels or rare cards of his, like I said, one-of-ones, numbered to 10, case hit cards that we have not been fortunate enough to hit. And we're just going to put these up for display. Is his real rookie card, the one that everyone covets, Victor Wembanyama Silver Prism. This card right here. Now this card, we actually pulled a Victor Wembanyama Silver Prism. However, when we went in and got it graded a PSA 9. So, of course, we didn't feel comfortable with that PSA 9 grading. So we ended up a year later, probably more, maybe close to 2 years later, we went to the West Coast Card Show and sold it as part of a lot. However, can you guess how much we sold it for? A PSA 9 Victor Wembanyama Silver Prism, because a PSA 10 Victor Wembanyama Silver Prism at that time was going for $1,000. So just to show at that time, 2 years ago, the difference between a 9 and a 10 was a $500 difference. PSA 9 Silver Prism 2 years ago was selling for $500. Well, that's what I sold it for. And when I sold it in the lot, I sold it for 100% of the comp. I did not settle for 80 or 90%. I asked for 100% and I got the full value of $500. Now, I had Zach look that up for me the other night. I haven't looked it up as of today, but the other night he looked it up, and this PSA 9 Silver Prism last sold for slightly over $1,000. So definitely something that you regret at this moment. But of course, looking back, we got a pretty good deal because no one could imagine his cards getting to this point. So how much does this Silver Prism PSA 10 going for as of this recording? Now, we looked at it, I said a day after they made the finals, but things had not marinated, not enough time had gone by. At that time, that card was already soaring. It had soared up to $3,300. But I checked the card before I shot this video. As of June 2nd, the cost or the last sold with, I believe, like 52 bids. So it was not a best offer kind of deal. With 52 bids, it sold for $3,850. Now that is crazy. Why do I say it's crazy? Because that card can go up even more. Because Victor Wembanyama doesn't have any licensed signed autograph cards. As you know, I believe his black recently sold 1 of 1 for $5.1 million. All right. So of course we're nowhere near that, but you can imagine all his Prism cards like this, no matter what the variety or parallel, definitely they also get a chunk of that in terms of the increased prices. So $3,850. Now, one of my biggest regrets is that, as you know, Victor Wembanyama hasn't had the smoothest path to stardom. All right, he had a lot of expectations placed on his shoulders, heavy burden to bear. Year one, he showed glimpses. However, I think he even finished the year, right? They ended up sitting him out the rest of the year because of injury. And then, as you know, last year, Victor was diagnosed with a blood clot that was potentially career-threatening. So what ended up happening? A lot of the cards you see here right now, they tanked. And that is one of my regrets, is because I stayed away. All right, instead of just jumping on it, I went ahead and stayed away. And this card, as of a year ago, all right, with all that uncertainty of Victor Wembanyama, blood clot, would he play again? Would he be the player that everyone expected him to be? Guess what? It dropped to $500. Could you imagine if I picked up quite a few of those, how much that would be worth in my collection? All right, so some things to remember if you're really vested into a guy. And, Victor is someone that I look at not just only as a favorite player of mine, but also as an investment, because I went into this jumping into Victor cards, wanting to invest money into it. All right, I even make the joke a lot of the times where I say, in Wemby we trust. So definitely, that's why whenever you see me pull a Wemby card, even if it's a base card, you'll see me say, we PC Wemby and we sleeve him up. All right, so that's why it was such a disappointment to find out my more recent Wemby card, which I sent to PSA for grading, which we never got back. I haven't even checked out what that price goes for now, which was a I believe Power Players Hollow Foil Topps Chrome, first Topps Chrome card, and we got a PSA 10 out of that, but we have nothing to show for it in return. But the question to you guys is, Victor Wembanyama, will his cards continue to soar? What do you think? Do you think that his cards have hit its plateau? All right, do you think it's going to go up any higher than that? I mean, guys, the guy won unanimously Defensive Player of the Year. All right. He made all defensive first team and all NBA first team. The only thing he didn't win is he finished third in MVP voting. But imagine if he were to take Finals MVP, what that would mean to his card market. Now, a lot of people say, you know what? His cards this is probably going to be the highest it's ever going to get. Why? Because there are high pop counts on these cards. That is the argument made by a lot of collectors, that these cards are just too common. All right. However, yes, low pop counts definitely mean more. All right. In regards to value, if you can get numbered cards, low numbered cards, how much more they would be worth. That's why I think this one right here out of 10 means a lot. All right. But the question is, do you think his cards will continue to rise despite the plethora in regards of number of cards that have been printed out of Victor Wembanyama? All right. So that's the thing. That's the question. Because I believe many collectors probably sold Victor low, or they sold him too early. All right, maybe because of the fear of the uncertainty, or when they saw his cards start to rise this year, maybe they sold it because, you know it, guys, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs are probably a year or two ahead of schedule. No one could imagine during their first playoff run that they would make the NBA Finals. Now, are they the favorites? I believe they are. But the sentimental favorites are the New York Knicks. So will the Knicks defeat Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs? Now, I believe that the Spurs are going to go on to build a dynasty, in my opinion. I don't think this is the last time they're going to be showing up in the finals. So is it better then that Victor doesn't win this year, so he's got more motivation to take MVP and just run a string of finals appearances just like LeBron James did? Let me know in the comments section, all right? Now, I personally will be voting or cheering on Victor Wembanyama. But as for team-wise, got to go with the NYC. I will be cheering on Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. However, I'll be looking at the play of one Victor Wembanyama. So, in my opinion, will these cards continue to soar? Probably it's going to level off a little bit. I could see this card right here, what did I say, 3,800. I could see with a good finals run, I could see this card getting to 5,000. All right, so that's just my humble opinion. Now, I haven't added up all of these cards, but when we did add up these cards, my wife was pleased to find out that these cards were, that you see here and some that are, you haven't seen that are ungraded, at least over $15,000 in value, if not more. So good way to start. We're hoping for more Victor success. In Victor we trust, as they say. So tell me what you guys think. Is Victor Wembanyama a generational player? Do you think Cooper Flagg can have the same success, not only team-wise, but as well as statistically individual honors and even his cards? Will they get anywhere close to the hype of Victor Wembanyama? Because Cooper Flagg's current hype is similar to Victor, all right, if not even higher at this point. But Victor has put everything, all the expectations, he has answered the call, and I believe he's going to have a dynasty-like run. But of course, there is that asterisk, all right? That what if, and that what if is assuming he's healthy. I believe he will be a top 3 player, if not make a run at one of the best players. Because imagine he is just 22 years old. And you can imagine he's got that dog in him. You see that mentality that he has. Similar to one Kobe and Michael and my MJ instead of one LeBron. So that is basically our thoughts on regards to Victor Wembanyama and his card market. Tell me what you think, guys. Do you think that we should hold on to these cards? Should we sell them? All right. Do you think that Victor Wembanyama is a long-term investment, or should we go ahead and cash out now because this is the highest it's going to ever get? And do you guys collect a Victor Wembanyama? If not, who is the guy that you have a collection that you have pride in or you have similar thoughts about? Okay, let us know in the comments section. But thank you for joining us. Enjoy the finals, guys. And remember, every time Victor scores, blocks a shot, gets an assist, rebounds, we're cheering him on here at Zach Meglin Collectibles. Happy viewing, everyone. Take care.